I don't want to. I don't want to cover more UA. I want to prep for my games. I got 3 new tables this week. Kobold, nobody cares about your DMing. Fine, but I swear to God, if there's marshals in there, I'm not reading it. Alright, let's see here. There's 2 marshals and a warlock. Well, at least this UA is tiny, so I might as well cover everything. Welcome to Pack Tactics, where I'm so sad. I'm crying. And this barbarian's also crying as well. Path of Laments. First feature is Banshee's Wail. Which actually sounds really good. And oh my god, it's an AoE damage feature. And it's in a 30-foot emanation. That's huge. That's the size of, Light Cleric. What's that one called again? Radiance of the Dawn, that's what it was. Radiance of the Dawn still does more damage than this, but it's fairly close in scaling early game. It does D12s equal to your rage damage bonus, with half damage, and it deafens people for 1 minute. The activation is either when you rage or use a bonus action, which is amazing. And you can use this feature a number of times equal to your con mod. It being tied to con mod is unfortunate. But the good news is you regain all uses by expending a use of your rage, which is a ton of ammo. Wow. Like, right now, at this level, this is actually better than Radiance of the Dawn. This is the best 3rd level barbarian feature in the game. And funnily enough, this is also the best tier 1 blaster in the game too. I'm actually excited for this now. It's a 10 out of 10 so far. Marshals finally have their own version of the Light Cleric. It took more than 10 years for this to happen. Oh, I've been waiting for so long for this. Oh my god. Next, level 6, Commune with the Dead. This is a flavor feature, really. You can cast Speak with Dead. The other 6th level feature is Horrifying Strike. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with a strength-based attack roll while raging, force a wisdom save to give the creature the frightened condition until the start of your next turn. This is amazing with throwing weapons to shut down creatures. By Tiamat. This is the best barbarian ever. They finally figured out how to make a good barbarian. This is still 10 out of 10. Level 10, Otherworldly Anguish. You can't be possessed, which is huge. There's a lot of funny stories about that on the internet, but anyways. You have resistance to cold and necrotic damage while rage is active. I wish they didn't need to rage for that, but whatever. And here's the big feature right here in the middle. If the target fails against Banshee's Wail, and it has HP equal to twice your barb level or fewer, it drops to 0 HP instead of taking damage. So right now when you get this feature, it's up to 20 HP, which is less than the average 1st level sleep back in the 5e days. That is complete garbage. It needs a boost. Even if you're fighting trash mobs at this level, 99% of them are gonna have more than 20 HP, especially in the new monster manual, because there the HP got boosted. Still though, I love everything about this feature. I just think it should be scaled to an average of 60. That way it can snag up to CR4 creatures. Not all of them, but you know, a good chunk of them. Now I know some of you might be like, Kobold, you're crazy. But there's still a 40% chance the enemies succeed. It's against their favor, but what I'm saying is this is not broken. It's pretty tame. Oh no, a bunch of trash mobs got deleted. That's a common thing for casters to do. Banshee's Wail, by the way, becomes really bad here. It needs a damage increase to like fireball damage. Then we're gaming, man. Wizards of the Coast are really close to figuring this out. This is the best UA ever. Capstone, Sorrow Form. It's a once per long rest feature that's connected to rage. For 1 minute, you can become immune to Charmed and Frightened. If you are under one of those conditions, you can end them. You're also immune to exhaustion while in this form, and you count as an undead, which is kind of funky. Now, the actual feature is when a creature fails its saving throw against your Horrifying Strike, the creature takes 2d10 necrotic damage, and you regain hit points equal to the necrotic damage dealt. If this worked on Banshee's Wail too, it would have been perfect. That's all it needs, in my opinion. Because, you know, if there's tons of mobs, you're gonna get a ton of healing. That's all it really needs in my opinion there. It wouldn't be broken because you can only use this once per long rest. Well, I mean, the transformation parts, that's what I mean. The 3rd and 6th level features are perfect. This is the first barbarian I've seen where I've thought, wow, I actually see myself playing this. This is amazing, but level 10 and 14 still needs work. I think they're extremely close though, and I'm having fun. Even my friends and players and my community on Discord are like, oh my god, this looks fun. So they're totally on the right track. Now let's move on to Monk, Warrior of Venom. Let's see if they're as impressive as the Barb. In Venom Weapon, at the start of your turn, you can expend 1 focus point to apply a toxin produced from your blood. A creature that takes damage from the weapon is subjected to one of the following toxin effects. Interesting, this feature functions like a contact poison, but it's easier to apply. Here's the effects. Slowing toxin. Until the start of your next turn, the target's speed is halved. It can't take reactions, and it can't take either an action or a bonus action on its turn. Not both. This is amazing on a skirmisher. It's not a saving throw. It applies on the hit, and then you bonus action disengage with Step of the Wind. This isn't tied to the poison condition either, so no one is immune to this. The other option is Venom. The target takes poison equal to 2 rolls of your martial arts die. Both of the toxin retains potency for 1 minute until a creature takes damage. I am very impressed with this. This is gaming. I've got stars in my eyes. The other 3rd level feature is Potent Arsenal. You can make basic poison over the course of a day, which isn't worth doing, but it is a moneymaker, I suppose. Milking familiars is just faster. It takes 6 seconds, but keep in mind, the DC is 20, but that's not a big deal. Additionally, whenever you deal poison damage with a monk feature or a monk weapon, you can change that damage type to acid. That helps the venom from the previous feature a lot. Okay, we're really gaming. Okay, I was not expecting this. Now for level 6, Toxic Touch. As a magic action, you can expend 1 focus point to apply a potent toxin to a creature you touch. The target makes a con save. On a fail, the target has the poison condition for 1 minute. While poisoned, the target is affected by one of the following effects of your choice. Intoxicant. The target has the charm condition for the duration, or until you or your allies deal damage to the target. Bad. The creature will still go and hurt your friends, regardless. I guess there's out of combat uses, but whatever. Sedative. The creature falls asleep and has the unconscious condition for the duration. Another creature can use an action to shake it awake and remove the condition. I don't know if this is a bug, but damage doesn't wake up the creature, so this is super strong. And finally, Truth Serum. It's exactly what it sounds like. Anyways, Sedative is amazing, but keep in mind this is a con save. It costs key, you're not doing your punches, and creatures who are immune to the poison condition are immune to this. This feature absolutely has its uses. I love everything about it, but it's above average. It's a single target shutdown, and you're a damage dealer. You'll get more out of Stunning Strike because you're doing your attacks. And if that lands, the creature's most likely gonna die that round. It's usually just enough with Focus Fire. I recommend asking your friends to use Silvery Barbs here, that's for sure. If the enemy fails against this, it's a default kill. Level 11, Toxin Refiner. You're immune to poison, and when you're subjected to poison damage, your Envenom weapon options each deal extra poison damage equal to 1 roll of your martial arts die. In addition, whenever you ingest poison, you regain a number of hit points equal to 1 roll of your martial arts die. Yes, I can be an alcoholic. Beer is gonna heal me, and alcohol poisoning is going to buff my attacks. Kobold, I've always wanted to play an alcoholic. This is my fantasy. Adulting at its finest, huh? Unfortunately, you can still suffer the poison condition, which is really going to hurt your DPR, but still, if you have ways to get advantage, you can bypass this trade. I recommend buying kegs of beer for healing. I know this is like homebrew, like who knows how much a beer provides. But come on, beer exists in your world. It should heal you. It's poison. And I'm pretty sure it's way cheaper than healing potions. Oh my god. The other 11th level feature you get is Toxic Blood. It's exactly what it sounds like. The attacker takes 1d6 poison damage. And if you're bloodied, the attacker instead takes poison damage equal to 1 roll of your martial arts die. You can replace the poison with acid to roleplay as Xenomorph, which is really funny. So you can be an alcoholic Xenomorph if you want, which sounds really cool. I love everything about this. All of this sounds so fun. I wish it came earlier. Now for the capstone, level 17, Hallucinogenic Breath. It's not a breath weapon. When you take an attack action on your turn, you can expend 2 key points and replace one of your attacks to do like a vapor at one creature you can see within 30 feet. The target makes a constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the target takes poison damage equal to 3 rolls of your martial arts die and has the frightened condition for 1 minute, or until the target takes damage. While frightened, the target takes the dash action and moves away from you by the safest route on each of its turns, unless there's nowhere to move. It's a mini fear that's only single targets. It's amazing if it lands, and it's worth doing, but I was hoping for a breath weapon. There's also an argument that frightened condition's not really that good at this level, but I disagree because, well, mobs exist. My main problem is I think this is boring as a capstone. Everything is fine here, I just want an AoE. I am very happy with this monk. The only change this needs is the capstone, and then I think we're all good. Guys, I'm serious when I say this. This is the best martial UA I've ever seen from Wizards of the Coast. I actually think these features are fun. I'm thrilled about this. They're actually on the right track now, finally. After more than a decade. Whoever wrote these should write every martial. I'm serious, dude. Like, I never want to see a Hell Knight level martial ever again. That subclass was boring and bad. That was from the previous UA. By the way, look, Kobold and Gator Dice are on the Only Crit store. I don't really have that much time to talk about it, but you can get them there if you missed out on the Kickstarter, which is really cool. Yippity yip 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 yip. Kobold! Nobody understands Japanese. Even dragons have a hard time understanding it. Skill issue. Anyways, let's move on to War. This subclass is called Primordial Patron. They're themed around Elemental Chaos, which is from Greyhawk. I only know them from B2, which is a terrible adventure. Anyways, there's kind of like a genie patron going on here where you choose the elements. But what's strange is this is not a feature. This is part of the introduction of the subclass. You see, there's no like level 3 behind it. But anyways, the elemental spells are these. Again, this is kind of like Genie. The earth and the fire spells are the best. What's unique about earth specifically, which is really weird, is the damage type is acid. And that will apply to the future features we're going to get into right now. I gotta say, they kind of screwed themselves by removing magical bludgeoning damage, huh? That's funny. Anyways, their main feature is the elemental node. It's a moonbeam, but you can bonus action move it 30 feet. When it appears, it forces a dex save, and it does 1d6 damage, and on a successful save, it does half damage. This feature lasts for 1 minute, and it's a short rest resource. You can expend a pack slot to get more, but it's not worth it. It's pretty bad. As you progress in level, the damage scales, but it's not very much. It caps out at 3d6. I mean, it's something. It's not concentration. And in the doorway, I can see this actually being kind of good. I'm not excited for this. The next feature I heard Reddit kind of freaked out about, so let's get into it. Level 6, Elemental Haven. The node provides a shielding and a teleport feature. The AC it provides while you're in the node is equal to your charisma mod. That's actually kind of good. This stacks with shield, which can be pretty nutty, but you gotta keep in mind this is on a level 6 warlock. You can't really do anything too interesting with that. You don't really have the ammunition for that. I guess you could build for it, but I don't really think it's worth it. You know what I think is better than that AC? A wall. Full cover is crazy, dude. Reddit is freaking out over nothing again. Classic. You also get a Misty Step where you teleport to the node. But you gotta keep in mind the node only lasts 1 minute. And then you have to take a short rest after that. This feature is okay, but this subclass already sucks. Level 10, you get resistance to the chosen elemental damage type. And when you're in the node, you get immunity to that damage type. In addition, your node is now a 10-foot radius sphere. Again, this is okay. Now I really wish that damage type for Earth was bludgeoning, because that would be amazing when you're in the node. Giants would seriously struggle with you, but alas, they made it acid for some reason. It doesn't make any sense to me. Capstone, you can expend a packed magic slot while you're within the node to pull a creature into the node. It's a single creature, they make a strength save, and you pull them 15 feet towards the center of the node. Even if you're flying and the node is in the air, this is not worth a packed magic slot. It doesn't do anything if the creature succeeds. It's a complete waste. Even if they failed, it's like, wow, they took 3d6 damage. Your node now lasts an hour, by the way. And while you're within the node, you can cast the Planar Ally spell without expending a spell slot. Planar Ally is a really good summon. I don't think I've ever talked about it on YouTube. I've seen it cast many times before, but I've never gotten the opportunity to talk about it for some reason. It functions like a fancy mercenary, and you can get some really interesting, powerful creatures through this. It can be very complicated, and it's unfortunately DM dependent, but it has great potential to be something insanely good. This would be capstone appropriate if you got the full 1-day service for free, because right now you still need to pay money for the service. The only thing that's free is the cast, and then you gotta wait a few days for it to refresh for some reason. This subclass is garbage. We're gonna move on to invocations now. There's 2 of them, and then we're done. Elemental Transmutation is kind of sick. You can choose one of these damage types, and once per turn, when you deal damage, you can change that to a different damage type, like acid. This is amazing on Fireball or Hunger of Adar, but that's basically it, unfortunately, there. But that's Warlock-wise. This invocation is actually not tied to just Warlock spells. If you want to combo this with Binding Ice, you can absolutely do it. So there's great potential here for something really cool. I'm already thinking about Invocation Wizards. Unfortunately, you can't pick this invocation more than once. I don't know why. If I was playing an Invocation Wizard, I would pick this twice at level 2. Anyways, the other invocation is crap. You can pick this multiple times though, which is really weird. The thing with this is it only lasts until the end of your turn, and whenever a creature within 5 feet of you hits you with a melee attack, they take 1d4 damage. Anyways, that's it. Best UA ever. I actually believe that. I had fun with this one. But I got a DM for 14 new players, so bye. Bye dice. Bye.